Hey guys, Ray Bashir here, Blue Shield Tactical Systems. Today we're wanting to talk about size matters. Of course, I live in Texas, so we're out of lockdown here. Things are starting to get back to normal, which is fantastic. I was able to go train today with some guys that in martial arts, be able to do that, and that's fantastic here in Texas that we're able to do that. And for the other officers who are not able to train right now and we live in those states, I feel for you, and just give it time. Things hopefully things will get better with time. Now you notice that the title of this video is Size Matters. And so what are we talking about when we say that? It's such a misnomer when it comes to martial arts and law enforcement sometimes, where they say, well, if you know these techniques, you can make up the difference. You can beat a person that's bigger than you. And that is true to a certain degree. So if you have a person, you have an officer that's 150 pounds, let's say, and you have a suspect who's 300 pounds, and they're on top of this officer, not to say that they couldn't get out from under him, but the odds really decrease, especially if this person who's 300 pounds is so determined to assault this officer. In other words, they're just beating on them, just the whole power situation. If it didn't matter, guys, we would see a Honda Civic pulling a Ford F-350, right, and just dragging it across. No, it does matter. So, can we make up that size difference with training and technique and athleticism? Of course, yeah, we can. But it's not always going to work, right, depending on the other person that we're up against. That's why we have the tools on our belt. If I were out there with a person that weighs me by that much, I'm definitely, even if they didn't, I'm definitely going to go to the tools first, right? I'm going to give them the chance, the opportunity to work in that type of situation and not get into that close contact situation to where it puts me in jeopardy. It also puts them in jeopardy of me having to use deadly force if it goes, such a other direction. But we also want to talk about documenting the size and the strength of a person in your use of force report. How important is that? We don't normally see that, where officers are putting in their reports that they weigh 155 pounds and the suspect was 260 or 300. We don't see that in the reports. We also don't normally even see, the weight of the suspect. That's important, especially if we're talking about a deadly force situation to where that officer ended up shooting and killing someone who is unarmed. And so the justification can be there, especially if the officer was in that close contact situation and documented that they were in fear of their life and they were fighting for their life and they was barely able to get away from this person, and they were talking about the size difference and the strength and everything else, and they used deadly force to try to equal the odds of their survival. Then it's important to be able to list those in the reports, because that's what's going to come up during the investigation. It's also what's going to come up during the courtroom setting as well. That's some of the things that they're going to bring up. Does age matter? Yeah, it does. If you have someone who's 20 and you have an officer who's 45 years old, there's going to be a lot of times a difference there, right? But the younger person is probably going to have a little bit more stamina. They're probably going to be a little bit more flat. Now, here's the thing about it when we talk about age and physical confrontations, is that strength, as far as in older, I'm 46, and strength tends to be the last thing you lose, but you tend to lose flexibility and some of the stamina aspect maybe, and it's not across the board that way. I know someone would say, well, I run marathons, I do this, and I'm 60 years old, yeah, but you're the exception, right? For the most part. And especially if the officer who is in their 40s, 50s, 60s and out on patrol and up against someone who's in their early 20s is not training and not taking care of themselves and, are overweight. All those things, all those factors can come into play, and they need to be documented. Especially at the time of that encounter. And in that report, the officer needs to put that I was this size, he or she was this size, or much bigger than me, stronger than me. Felt like, that when I grabbed a hold of them, I wasn't able to control it because they were so much stronger than I was. those things come into play, especially when we're talking about using a level of force and why you use that level of force. So guys, think about that when you're writing your next report. Putting the weight, the strength, everything else, the height of the other person, lighting conditions. I mean, so much goes into those reports, should go into those reports. You know what amazes me, guys, is we see and I've talked about this before, but we see a DWI report, right? Driving while intoxicated. In some states, in DUI. But we see that DWI report, and it's so detailed about step 7, they stepped offline. And those officers why do they put all that detail into those reports? It's because they know they're probably going to go to court. But then you see those response to resistance report, use of force reports, right? And that detail is not there. And we wonder why we have issues that come up when we have a use of force incident. It's because we only have one shot at it. So we want to make sure that we put all that documentation into place before it. Guys, I wish you guys the best. I know we're all, like I said, going through some tough times. Things will get better. And so if there's anything that we can do, and I realize budgets are going to be lower, if there's anything we can do to help you guys, don't hesitate to ask. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're all fellow law enforcement. We're here to support each other. So don't hesitate to ask or contact us. If you have questions, I have people contact me all the time. With questions that they may have, and we're always here to support them. So, guys, you be safe out there and watch your six. Thanks. Bye.